Yo guys, welcome back to a brand new video. Today guys, we're going to be ranking all of the new Tag Team GXs coming out in Unbroken bonds. There is 7 of them, and most of these tag teams are actually really good. At least I think 4 of them are going to make a huge impact on the format, which is crazy. Some of these decks just immediately shoot up to the BDIFs, so this set is wild. There's a lot of crazy cards. Before we get into the video, the ranking video, of course, shout out to Gardevoir and TCG, the sponsor on the channel, guys. If you guys need to get any team-up codes or any GX codes for like Melmetals or Jolteons or Wailord Magikarps, you can go buy them at Gardevoir and TCG. Best place to get codes, and you can also use discount code LDF for a 5% discount on your purchase. And eventually, when Unbroken Bonds pre-orders go live on Gardevoir and TCG sometime, I think around May they'll be going live probably when the set is coming out. You can pre-order the Unbroken Bond codes over at Gardevoir and TCG and use code LDF for a discount on your purchase and your order. So now let's get into the ranking video. There's 7 tag teams. I'm hyped. Let's do it. And Kai's coming in at the number 7 lowest ranked spot on the list is Muck and Muck Tag Team GX. Now, man, this card's potential, it's there, but unfortunately it's just too gimmicky. So it's a basic 270 HP Psychic type, so it's pretty bulky for its typing, which is pretty good. And it works with Malamar, so there is some possibilities with it. So you got the attack Bad Poison, which poisons your opponent's active, puts 8 damage counters on them. So not terrible. Seviper does stack, and then also Verbank City Gym stacks, which is kind of cool. Then you have Poison Cling, which does 120 for 4 energy, 1 psychic, 3 colors. If your opponent's active Pokemon is poisoned, heal 100 from this Pokemon. So you can combo this, again, with Malamar. You can also combo this with DCEs. Unfortunately, though, this is weak to Psychic, and its attacks are kind of just clunky. Considering Poison isn't the greatest effect, to be honest, considering there's Switches and Guzmas and Ace Rollas in the format, you don't really get much out of it. Sticky Muck is a free GX attack, though, which is kind of cool. If your opponent's active is now poisoned and paralyzed, if this Pokemon has at least 4 extra energy attached to it, you put 15 damage on this Pokemon for poison, so that's kind of cool. For 4 energies, though, is it really worth it to do 150 damage? And even if you stack with Sevipers, you're only really capping at like 160, 170 damage, so not worth it. Muck's also weak to Psychic, so Giratina just devours him. Moving on to a number 6 spot. Guys, coming in at the ranking of number 6 is going to be Machamp and Marshadow GX. Now, okay, this is a good card. This is actually like the first card that we'll most likely see play, kind of in the similar vein of how Lucario GX has seen play, maybe even Terrakion. So, Machamp's main kind of appeal is the attack Revenge, which for fighting in a colorless energy does 30 damage if one of your Pokemon, were knocked out by damage from an attack during your opponent's last turn. You hit for 120. And that's pretty good. And you can actually combo this with like Counter Gain maybe to do 120 for 1. And that's beautiful numbers. You one-shot Pikachu, Zekroms, and Zoroark. Pikarom and Zoroark will still probably be really good once the set comes out. They'll still probably be really top decks. So Machamp, Marshadow seems like a good counter to them. And its attacks aren't even bad either. For 3 energy, you do 160 damage, which is similar to Buzzwole. But there's no downside of the attack, which is nice. And then you have Hero Peak, which can hit for 200. If this Pokemon has at least 1 extra energy attached to it, if this Pokemon be knocked out by damage from an attack during your opponent's next turn, this Pokemon is not knocked out, and its remaining HP becomes 10 instead, which is pretty cool and clutch. You can combo that with something like Last Chance Potion, which is kind of cool. So I do think Machamp Marshadow is a good card. I think its main downside is, without a doubt, it's kind of the fact that Revenge is very specific, and then also its weakness to Psychic is also a bit of a problem. But overall, this is a pretty strong card, I think, and definitely goes well in Fighting Box decks. It might even see a lot of play in Expanded with Max Elixirs, so yeah, I like Machamp Marshadow a lot. I think it's a good card, but I do think its weaknesses kind of hold it back a little bit from being truly amazing, but I still think it is a decent card all around. And now we're going to move on to the number 5 spot. Ranking in at our number 6 spot, probably just a little bit higher in terms of how good they are, and this is going to be Greninja Zoroark at our number 5 spot here. Greninja Zoroark Tag Team, it's cool. I think it's kind of similar to Machamp and how good it is, but I think it's better than Machamp for many more reasons. It is weak to fighting, which is probably its biggest downside, but other than that, this is a pretty strong card. Dark Pulse is really good. It's like Darkrai EX's attack, but a little bit better because you're doing more damage output per energy, which is good. And then also this card combos well with Dark Patch and Max Elixir. I think Greninja Zoroark becomes one of the BDIFs and expanded immediately because of Dark Pulse being so good with Max Elixir and Dark Patch. In Standard, it's a little worse. There is possibility of comboing it with Incineroar. Its Night Unison GX attack, putting 2 Dark EXs and GXs from your discard pile on your bench, can also be really good with Incineroar. I think this card is actually good in Standard. I think it will see play in Standard for sure. I do think in Expanded, this card is really powerful and busted, but in Standard, might not be as good. I still think it's better than Machamp, though. In my opinion, it has a bigger impact on Expanded, and it's still okay in Standard. It is a good card, plus it has probably the best tag team artwork yet. It's such a badass artwork. But yeah, I want to give this a bit of a higher ranking than Machamp. Maybe the two can swap each other. Machamp is maybe this card's placement, and I don't know. I still think this card is still good enough to deserve a spot a bit higher than Machamp. That's just my opinion. Now let's move on to our number 4 spot. Now we're getting into the tag teams that are without a doubt going to become some of the best decks in the format. Next up, in our number 4 spot, is going to be the first good, super good tag team card that will make an impact, and that's going to be Lucario and Melmetal Tag Team GX. This card already has made a very big impact in Japan in the Champions League. I think it got 2nd place in Japan just recently, which is strong. So there's a couple variants. There's like an attacking Lucario Melmetal deck, and there's also like more of like a stall heavy build, because you can actually use one of the new tool cards in this set, which allows you to attach to a metal Pokemon, and then it takes 70 less damage during your opponent's next turn, and then you have to discard it, come back into your turn. So that's going to really help this card see a lot of play. Plus you have Metal Frying Pan, which on top of that makes this card even more busted, because then this card is like not weak to fire. So it's just insane, and it needs Frying Pan with some of the other fire types we're getting soon. So this card is definitely good. Its attacks combo pretty well. Steel Fist, searching your deck for Metal Energy, put on this Pokemon is nice. Combo that with Dhelmai's DC for 60 is pretty nice. Heavy Impact is decent too. You have full Metal Wall until the end of the game. All of your Metal Pokemon take 30 less damage from your opponent's attacks. If this Pokemon has 1 extra energy on it, discard all energy from your opponent's active. This is just an insanely fun GX attack. If you play this really quickly, you just give this card even more health, and it has 290 HP. And this with normal Melmetal GX is also pretty crazy, because then Melmetal's HP gets even stronger, and then again, you counter in Frying Pan and the new tool card. Lucario Melmetal Tag Team is definitely something to be feared. The only thing that will really stop it is just not having Frying Pan when you face down one of the best new decks coming in the format, which we'll talk about when we get there. But for now, we're going to move up our ranking to number 3. And guys, coming in at the number 3 ranking spot is going to be Gardevoir and Sylveon Tag Team GX. And what's once again in Japan has already made a big impact as one of the best decks in the Japan format. And in Expanded, Gardevoir Sylveon is also going to be pretty powerful too. But yeah, Gardevoir Sylveon Tag Team is just a great card. Fairy Song, getting 2 energies from your deck put on your bench is good. And then you have Kaleido Storm, which can do 150, so decent numbers. And then you move as many energy attached to any of your Pokemon in any way you like. This is a great effect. Moving all the energy off Gardevoir is really powerful. Miracle Magic GX, just 200, which is insane. And if this has at least 3 extra Fairy energy on it, your opponent shuffles their hand in their deck, and straight up they just get a 0-card hand, and then they draw a card and they draw 1, and then if they just gotta hope they have an Oranguru or a Zoroark in play, and they gotta hope their top decks like a Cynthia or a Lily, because if not, you just red card Delinquent them. Granted, it is in the later game, so it might not be as relevant, but because this thing can set up so fast because of the Attack Fairy Song and all the other fairy support we have, this card could actually become a huge problem. And not to mention, I think you'd use Fairy Charm with this thing, which makes it immune to Ultra Beast, and then you have the Ability one, I think, which makes it immune to Ability GX Pokemon, which is also pretty strong. So Gardevoir Sylveon Tag Team GX seems to be a very good card, and I think will, without a doubt, become one of the best decks in the format. And it's also going to be kind of the thing that gives Lucario and Melmetal a reason to be good. In my opinion, it'll keep Metal pretty relevant, and there's going to be a bit of a holy trinity going on, which I'll talk about in a minute when we get to our number 2 spot here. But yeah, without a doubt, Gardevoir Sylveon I think deserves the number 3 ranking. It's a very strong card, and will become another top deck in the format. Now we're down to the top 2. This one was hard to do because both these tag teams are very impactful for sure, but we'll get to them. And coming in at our number 2 spot is going to be Buzzwole and Pheramosa Tag Team GX. Man, was this hard to decide our number 2 and number 1 spot. You probably already know what the number 1 is. But yeah, Buzzwole Pheramosa is without a doubt the second best tag team in the set in my opinion, if not the best. It's really hard to decide. This card immediately saw a ton of play in the Champions League in Japan. I think Buzzwole Pheramosa won, so there you go. This card immediately has some support. But this is an Ultra Beast, so you can use it with Beast Rings, which is why this card is so powerful in my opinion. Not to mention, it's got Jet Punch, which is good. Jet Punch is always good. Elegant Soul and Beast Game are also good attacks too. Elegant Soul's 190 damage is strong. Beast Game is why this card might be really powerful with Beast Ring. If your opponent's Pokemon gets knocked out by damage from this attack, take an additional prize card. If this Pokemon has at least 7 energy on it, at least 7 extra energy, so you have to have 8 energy, you take 3 prizes instead. So you straight up win the game on a Tag Team GX if you knock them out with Beast Game, which is powerful. And it's not hard to get 8 energy on it, considering there's Beast Ring, considering maybe you can use this with something funny like a Venusaur maybe. So yeah, Pheramosa Buzzwole is really powerful. You kind of have to treat it like a better version of Wailord Magikarp. Now here's the reason why it's not number 1. Is because our number 1 spot has so much support to back it up, and it hits Buzzwole Pheramosa and shreds it like butter because of this thing's weakness. This thing may not actually become, like, this thing, I don't know if it's going to be able to compete with our number 1 spot. Our number 1 spot is just, it's just so powerful with all the support it has. But this thing, just don't deny Buzzwole Pheramosa GX, man. It's still a really good card. It's tearing up Japan right now. And it kind of gets outmatched by the number 1 spot, which creates the Holy Trinity, in my opinion. So we'll get into our number 1 spot, which you probably know what it is. So, without further ado. Yeah, without further ado, guys, our number 1 spot is Reshiram Charizard Tag Team GX, which is coming out in Unbroken Bonds. Unbroken Bonds will have the 3 sets. We have Night Unison, Full Metal Wall, and whatever the other fire set was called. I'm too lazy to remember. But yeah, straight up, Charizard, Reshiram, the amount of support this thing has right now just makes it just, without a doubt, the best deck in the format. There's not really, like, an insanely good water deck that can beat it. Obviously, there's, like, Quagsire, which will probably shoot up and play because of how good this card is. Fire types just get so much support. If you don't already know all the cards that are in this set that keep fire types relevant, it's just bonkers. There's a new Volcanion, which is insane. We have a new supporter card. We have a new item card. Kiawe's still a thing. Reshiram Charizard, man, just straight up becomes too powerful. Yeah, Welder. Attach 2 fire energies from your hand to one of your Pokemon. Draw 3 cards. I mean, bruh, what do you say about that? Like that's just too good. Too good. Reshiram Charizard just straight up becomes the best deck in the format, in my opinion, and also becomes just the Holy Trinity, because you got Buzzwole Pheramosa, which will... So, actually, here's how the Holy Trinity works, like I should say. So, Reshiram Charizard attacks Buzzwole Pheramosa. Okay, hits it for weakness. Now, Reshiram Charizard is weak to water, so we need a good Water-type Tag Team GX Pokemon. So, let's just say we get a Gyarados and, say we get, like, I don't know, Gyarados, Kyogre Tag Team GX, okay? And it's, like, a really good card. So then, that card balances out Reshiram Charizard, and because Gyarados and Kyogre is weak to grass, Buzzwole Pheramosa balances out that card, and then you see what I mean? You get the Holy Trinity going, which I think could honestly happen. Pokemon just have to release a really good Water-type Tag Team. I mean, we do have Wailord Magikarp, which I guess is the Holy Trinity we need, because that card is able to take a hit from Charizard Reshiram. But, yeah, this card, man, is just too good. Too good. I think it deserves a number 1 spot. It's just going to be the best deck in the format, by far. It's too good, man. Flare Strike, Outrage, Double Blaze, they're all really strong attacks. So, yeah, Charizard Reshiram is by far, in my opinion, the best tag team to come out of this set. That'll wrap today's video, guys. If you enjoyed, make sure to like. Don't forget to subscribe to help me on the road to reaching 5,000 subscribers. What do you think of this ranking video? There's all the other GXs like Venomoth and Blastoise and Persian, which are all pretty powerful too. So maybe I'll end up ranking them eventually. Maybe I'll do like the top 10 best cards from the set, which I might end up doing. If you guys want to see a top 10 best cards from Unbroken Bonds in the future, I'm down to do that. So yeah, do you guys agree with the ranking? Leave a like on the video if you enjoyed. Make sure to go to Card Cavern TCG, use code LDF, get your codes there, and I'll see you guys in another video. Bye.